What's wrong, Mr. Queen? You look a little peaked.
Arrow Season 2 is widely regarded as one of the series' best seasons by fans and critics. What are the components of a really good Arrow episode? Excellent action sequences, well-rounded characters, and a good balance of past and present scenes that tell a specific story are all hallmarks of the best Arrow episodes. Season 2, Episode 15, titled The Promise, had all of these components. The second season expanded on the first season's foundation by broadening the scope and stakes of the show. The season's antagonist, Slade Wilson Deathstroke, played by Manu Bennett, who was also Oliver Queen's friend, ally, and mentor on the island, Lin Yu, added emotional depth to the plot. The season-long arc involving Slade's vengeance against Oliver for betrayal was compelling, with intense action sequences and character development. In The Promise, we get a deep flashback episode set in Lin Yu that connects to the present. In the flashbacks, we see how Oliver, Slade, and Sarah Lance, who will become the Canary in Season 2, work together to take down a dangerous villain named Dr. Ivo and his team of mercenaries and take over Ivo's ship called the Amazo. Before the events of this episode, one of Oliver's early mentors was Yao Fei, and he had a daughter named Shadow. Shadow was Oliver's love interest on the island and taught him archery. Slade had feelings for Shadow, and on a quest to save Slade, she's killed by Ivo. Due to his mind being corrupted by the super soldier serum Mirakiru, after he discovers Oliver's shared role in Shadow's death, Slade turns against Oliver, his one-time ally, despite the fact that Oliver was not entirely responsible for Shadow's death. We all know Oliver never had to choose between Shadow and Sarah. Ivo influenced that decision by pointing the gun at Sarah, prompting Oliver to defend her. Sarah warns Oliver that Ivo will try to pin Shadow's death on him in order to turn Slade against him. She informs him that he must kill Ivo before he can cause Slade to snap, since Slade has the Mirakiru in him. Slade causes havoc on everyone on the ship, while Oliver makes his way to the cabin. In an explosion, he enters the cabin and grabs Ivo at arrow point. Ivo, as promised, blames Oliver for Shadow's death, and Slade overhears the whole thing. As the ship explodes with fires, gunfire, and violence, Slade vents his rage on Oliver. Oliver takes advantage of the riot to meet up with Sarah and other prisoners. Sarah persuades Oliver that they must return to the shore, so several prisoners jump overboard, but Slade stops Oliver, imprisons him, and seizes control of the ship. Later, Slade drags Oliver out of his cell. Slade reveals that he has saved some Mirakiru, which Oliver thought all of the Mirakiru was burned the night before by him, Slade, and Sarah. Slade hands Ivo a gun. He demands that Ivo show him how he killed Shadow, so Ivo points the gun at Oliver, while Oliver begs Slade to let him go. But before Ivo can fire, Slade severs his hand and has him arrested, and this is when Slade makes his promise to Oliver.
You cannot die until you have suffered, and you will. I promise.
In the present, when Slade reveals himself to Oliver, he seizes the opportunity to get to know Oliver's family, who are unaware of his history with Slade. Slade and Oliver spend every moment in the present exchanging glares and threats at Queen's mansion.
What are you doing here?
All that time on that island, it must have been hell for you.
The main characters are no longer acting in the dark. The present-day Oliver, Sarah, and Slade are all aware that one another survived, and Shadow's fate is no longer a mystery from the past. This feels like the culmination of everything that has come before it, but as Slade points out on his way out of Queen's mansion, he's going to fulfill his promise.
5 years ago, I made you a promise. Do you remember? Well, I'm here to fulfill it.
For, as significant as Oliver and Sarah's roles were, Slade Wilson, played by Manu Bennett, owned this episode. He got to play two different characters, one tortured and broken, and the other calm, crafty, and determined. Deathstroke was created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and made his debut in the new Teen Titans #2 in December 1980 as Deathstroke the Terminator. He is a common foe of the Teen Titans, Batman, and Green Arrow. He was an American soldier rather than an Australian as he was portrayed in the show. Unlike the show, in the comics, master martial artist Natas trained Oliver Queen and trained Slade Wilson. Besides that, Manu Bennett's charismatic and intense performance as Slade Wilson was one of the series' highlights. Bennett's physicality and screen presence were two of the reasons his portrayal of Deathstroke was so popular. With his muscular physique, tactical gear, and eye patch, he fully embodied the character's fierce and lethal nature, making him an intimidating figure to watch. Bennett's fight scenes were also expertly choreographed and executed, with Bennett displaying his martial arts and sword fighting skills to great effect. impact. Another reason why Bennett's portrayal of Deathstroke resonated with viewers was the character's complexity. Slade Wilson was a multifaceted character with his own motivations, desires, and demons, rather than a one-dimensional villain. He was depicted as a man driven by vengeance, grief, and a sense of duty, making him a more compelling and relatable character. Also, Bennett's chemistry with Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen was palpable on screen, especially during the flashback scenes that explored their friendship and eventual feud. The tension and conflict between the two characters resulted in some of the show's most dramatic and emotional moments, solidifying Deathstroke's popularity among viewers. Stephen Amell's performance as Oliver Queen in Arrow was nothing short of outstanding, and it's safe to say that he was a big reason for the show's success. Amell gave the character a level of intensity and complexity that was both captivating and believable. One of the aspects of Amell's portrayal of Oliver Queen that made him stand out was his ability to portray the character's dual identity, as both a billionaire playboy and a vigilante superhero. He was able to portray the character's various facets convincingly, from his charming public persona to his brooding, intense private persona as the Arrow. Amell's performance in season 2 of the show was very impressive, as he tackled some of the show's most difficult storylines. His portrayal of Oliver's struggle with his dual identities, as well as his complicated relationships with those around him, was very nuanced and powerful. Amell expertly portrayed the conflict's emotional toll on Oliver, while also delivering some of the show's most thrilling action scenes. In the comics, various versions of Oliver ended up on an island, whether by accident or due to an attack, but they frequently failed to justify his return to fight injustice beyond selfishness. What the show adds to Oliver's boat ride is tragedy. People he cares about are killed in the process, and Oliver's mission is ultimately the fault of his father. Also, anyone who has read DC Comics is familiar with Slade Wilson Deathstroke, and the presence of his mask on the island with Oliver implies that Oliver was not alone on the island for 5 years. Someone was there, either indirectly or directly, teaching him how to survive and fight. The show, which aired for 8 seasons, drew many comparisons to Batman due to its dark tone, gritty, urban setting, and vigilante hero who fights crime with his skills and wealth. In the comics, Oliver is portrayed as a liberal activist who champions social causes, whereas in the show, he's portrayed as a more ruthless vigilante who frequently operates outside the law. The show's emphasis on Oliver's time on a deserted island set it apart from the other Green Arrow adaptations, while its larger cast of characters and incorporation of elements from the larger DC universe contribute to the creation of a rich and diverse world for viewers to explore. So, what did you think of The Promise, Season 2, and the show overall? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section. Also, if you'd like us to do more videos on Arrow, just let us know. If you like what you watched today, go ahead and hit that like button. And while you're here and you want to see more videos from us, then hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be the first to know when we post new videos. And thank you for watching.